I guess that means it's my turn, right?
It's Vern's turn. And he's going to do the songs of George Harrison.
Folks, let me tell you something.
Let me tell you about living in a material world.
Let me tell you something about Love Comes to Everyone, an oft overlooked. Hey, fellas, here's something.
Yes, Vern?
What is it, Vern?
Honey Days. I gotta talk about
Here
I gotta
there,
talk
and
about Honey
everywhere.
Days.
Vern's got to talk about a Salt Lake City music staple.
It's become. I think this year was the second year it's happened. I hope it becomes a staple. It was something that us three got to attend last year. And it was something that unfortunately y'all weren't able to attend this year. Is a thing that I did not think I was going to be able to attend this year, and I had a gig that would have prevented me from seeing it, but then I left that gig, and suddenly my availability opened up for Honey Days. It's a thing where so much of the music that I consume and listen to is local bands here in Salt Lake, and I've just never, I'm sure Seattle had a cool music scene. I'm sure Florida had I'm sure everywhere has a cool music scene. I just was never really involved in a music scene before. But there's just this really cool, unique, original stuff happening here in Salt Lake musically. That I just I find so fascinating, and you go down the rabbit hole and you keep finding more stuff. And I don't get to listen to everything just because there's only so much time in the day. But Honey Days is cool because it gives you an opportunity to see all see a big budget version of the cool shows that happen here in Salt Lake. This may not seem like a lot, but the bands at Honey Days perform on a big stage. And there's a lot of floor room to sit and watch them. And they've always got just an amazing lighting setup. And this year I didn't think I was going to be able to attend, but I was able to attend, and it was a wonderful experience. And I got to, and I just wanted to just talk about Honey Days, but mainly I want to talk about some of the local acts I saw. The first act I got to see whenever I went to, I think it was night 2 of Honey Days, was a band called Tomper. And the best way I could describe Tomper is that they're a cute little Utah Tom Tom Club. Or U-Tom Tom Club, if you will. Stop Making Sense is in theaters right now. And I'm sure everyone who's seen it knows and loves the part where David Byrne goes backstage to drink,
do some cocaine,
and the rest of the band becomes the Tom Tom Club, and they do
Genius of Love.
Genius of Love. I knew it was something of love.
Genius of Love, now the de facto comedy trailer song.
Yes, and the de facto I want to sample something for my rap. You use that song. But Tomper is like Tom Tom Club, in that it's a husband and wife duo.
The girls can do it too, y'all.
The girls can do it too, y'all. The drummer of the Talking Heads and the guy during that Genius of Love segment of Stop Making Sense. This will only make sense to a select few of people because this Venn diagram is very skinny, but he has such Sega video game energy about him. He is.
If I hit him, he drops rings.
Yeah, he's such a Sega video game announcer. Whenever he's looks pretty frozen to me.
He speaks pre-compressed.
Yeah, he just. I don't know. He feels like a Sega video game character to me. But
Yeah, he sounds like the guy in the episode 1 Pod Racer game that says, "A new lap record."
Exactly, yes. Definitely like a video game announcer.
Yes.
But for a Sega game. But Tomper, I have such a hard time describing different acts, but like, they do this kind of like, this is probably the easiest way to describe it. Like, they did a Hall & Oates cover. They do kind of like this 80s kind of splashy, synth-heavy, kind of like yacht rock kind of stuff. They're like really influenced by a lot of like city pop, which is like city pop is Japan in the 1980s attempt at like replicating like what American jazz music was doing, kind of. There's people that are way smarter than me musically who heard that and are just incensed and infuriated by how incorrect I am. But just like really, Tomper does just really fun, splashy, kind of like summertime music that I really enjoy. They've got a cute music video for their song Cruise Control on YouTube. And apparently they're working on an EP, which I'm very excited about. Ooh. But I've been wanting to see Tomper for an eternity, and I've not gotten a chance to because of their shows constantly conflicting with real life stuff that I have to attend. And I was bummed that I was going to miss them again this year, but I didn't have to. So I saw Tomper, and I saw a band called Dad Bod, which has got a great name. And all these artists I'm going to talk about work in one way or another with like Denny Fuller. And
of course,
Denny Fuller is like just like the musical stamp of quality here in Utah. If Denny is attached to it, it's worth listening to. And so Denny's been producing and like working on a lot of Dad Bod stuff. And this is my first time I got to like really hear Dad Bod, just because like there's only so many shows, there's only so much time in the day. It's always something I've wanted to do, but it just never happened. So this is also probably incorrect on what they do, but they played a lot of what seemed, just based on like listening to them on Spotify afterwards, seems like they played a lot of newer stuff. Stuff they've not yet recorded yet, or maybe they've rearranged since they recorded. But watching them live just like scratched that same itch for me that like early Arcade Fire used to scratch, of just like kind of like big anthem rock, kind of sort of big like anthem, like indie anthem rock. Tons of people on stage playing very big songs. It was so much fun watching those guys, and they also they just seem very funny. Watching their social media, they're just very funny guys. And so I was really happy to be introduced to Dad Bod. And after Dad Bod, we saw my boys, my friends, the Melons. And this is a thing where like I don't know that I've ever talked about them too much on podcasts, but anyone who knows me knows I'm a big Melon head. Some of the first friends I met here in Utah, the Melons do 60s era, like the easiest way is like they do Beatles and Beach Boys stuff, but it's all original. It kind of feels like culturally we kind of got off the 60s flowery on-ramp that we were on culturally way back when, and the Melons feel like where that music would, if we got back on that on-ramp, that's where the music would be now. They're not like a cover act. They're not like a revival act or anything. They're just doing that type of music now.
With like modern sensibilities.
Modern sensibilities and just modern recording techniques, but just still trying to do like pulling from influences from all these 60s acts, but also just like influences they've picked up since the 60s and just their own personal things. We're approaching, in 2 days. In 2 days from recording this, way after you guys heard it, but in 2 days from this record, we're approaching the 1 year anniversary of the release of their debut album, Introducing the Melons.
Oh, man.
And,
great record.
Great. Honestly, it's just it's not every day where like people release a masterpiece and just something that feels like them, and it'd be so easy for them to like feel like a revival act or a cover act, but you listen to this album and like this is these guys, and it's just an incredible. It's a damn earworm factory introducing the Melons, but also I think it's a great sample platter for just like where those guys are going in the future, and getting to see them like the same stage we three saw them last year, but seeing them on that stage with this like crazy lighting setup where like I guess the guy who was running the lights knew the Melons because it like almost seemed like the lights were like synchronized with what they were doing. But also this time the Melons had an additional guy on stage who was playing Tubular Bells with Melon songs and who was playing I get instruments confused, but I think it's the trombone that has the long slidey thing.
Is.
They were playing trombone along with like What a Time to Be Alive, and it was just their music, no pun intended, felt fuller on stage than it ever has, and felt closer to like what it sounded like on the record. One of just the best Melons shows I've ever seen. I said fuller sound because Denny is in the Melons and he records them as well. But I saw just like one of the best Melon shows, and then after that we saw Fontaine, and Fontaine came on stage, and Kevin's a big Fontaine nerd, and I'm a big Fontaine nerd, and we're just a little bit past the 1 year anniversary of that of her first record, Trip the Light Fantastic.
Great record.
Another incredible record. Very like Fontaine is kind of like singer-songwritery. If there's any fiber of your being that likes Carole King, that likes James Taylor, that likes that kind of era of music, you'll like Fontaine. And she played a nice sampling of stuff from that record, but a lot of her stuff was new stuff that she was working on. And Fontaine is just like just from seeing her on stage, she always seems like kind of so nervous and so meek and everything. And she's just like, I don't know how I feel about it. And it's like,
I don't know if the music's any good for...
She's from Britain, from the United Kingdom, rather.
She's from the United Kingdom.
But it's like, you hear this music and I'm like, what are you doing worrying? You could release this right now.
Right.
This is perfect. But it was really special for me because as I said earlier, I didn't think I was going to be able to catch this show. And because of the gig I had. And there was one day where I was working on this gig before I left it where randomly, out of nowhere, my Spotify decided to play Dirty Work by Steely Dan. Just decided to play I'm a fool to do your dirty work. And it was after like a bad moment I had at that gig. And I heard this song and I'm like, you know what? I think I need to leave this. I don't think this is working for me. And I go and see Fontaine at the end of just an incredible Honey Days, where I get to catch up with my friends, my Utah friends that I've not seen in a long time, after catching up with my Missouri and New York friends that I've not seen in a long time. And it's the end of just like a wonderful night of music, and at the end of a wonderful week of friendship. And Fontaine plays a cover of Steely Dan's Dirty Work.
Aww.
And I'm just like, this is perfect. It was so perfect.
Living high on the hog.
There's this, yeah, absolutely. So I had a wonderful time at Honey Days, but I guess my real something is the music of Tomper, the music of Dad Bod, the music of the Melons, and the music of Fontaine. That's the Melons with 2 L's, by the way. I think there's this really cool stuff happening musically here in Salt Lake City, and it's cool to like go out to shows and hear like not just like good music, but like great, unique, original music. And it's cool to have an alternative to things to do than like going to see a movie. So whatever it is, it's just cool that there's things happening, and there's some really cool stuff happening musically. And earlier on I Hear Something, I talked about the Plastic Cherries, and if there's any fiber of your being that liked any of that Plastic Cherry stuff I talked about, then you got to check out these acts as well, because they're just cool stuff happening, and they're doing really incredible earworm making music. And that's my something.
Rock and roll.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly, we must.
Quite frankly, rock and roll.
Quite frankly, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Oh, and I had a corn dog whenever I went and saw Honey Days. And it was a really good corn dog.
I haven't.
It was a really good
corn
one.
dog.
It was
so long.
Really good.
Corn dogs from like a food truck or from like a state fair. Like that's that top tier corn dog.
Hit different.
Fresh
And
fried.
like having a corn dog with honey and mustard on it instead of just honey mustard. Oh my god!
You ever
you
had
gotta-
one of those like breakfast corn dogs where like the outside is kind of a pancake and the inside is a little sausagey?
Yeah.
Here's something.
That's good. That's something.
At some point in the future, I think there are going to be here some things about food.
Oh,
Oh my
why
god,
stop,
dude. Bro?
Why wait?
I'm gonna be making gigantic pots of chili for the next like 4 months. Are you fucking kidding me?